Ms. Omar, you have 5 minutes for the gentlelady from Illinois.
Thank you, Chairman. And I don't want to get in trouble, so I'll stay as the vice ranking. Director, it's really good to see you again. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to talk a little bit about addressing the opioid crisis that we're seeing throughout the country, especially in my district. According to the CDC, the national overdose rate topped over 100,000 deaths again in 2023. Federal spending on the crisis has surged, with roughly 40% more dollars flowing to our states. States like Minnesota have recently been allocated hundreds of millions of dollars for opioid overdose prevention as well. While all of this funding has helped, there's still much more to be done. That's why it was very encouraging to see the president's budget request continuing to prioritize vital investment in SAMHSA. These programs promote mental health, prevent substance misuse, and provide treatment and recovery support. Director Young, can you outline the new funding priorities in this proposal that could better support our states and community organizations in the front lines of this epidemic?
I don't think there's anyone here who would disagree that we have to use every tool at our disposal to do something about the opioid epidemic in this country. This president has put forth robust budgets, even in a flat budget under the Fiscal Responsibility Act. This president is showing that it is his priority to do something about this epidemic, Congresswoman. $44.5 billion for the National Drug Control Program agencies, an almost $900 million increase over continuing resolution level funding. This budget prioritizes expanding evidence-based harm reduction, expanding access to treatment for substance abuse use disorder, overdose prevention, combating narcotics trafficking networks, countering illicit fentanyl at the border, and disrupting the international synthetic drug trade. I know we've gotten into a little back and forth about the border bill. I think one place that has always had bipartisan support was in the president's border supplemental request, which to put more of the equipment, the NII equipment at the land ports of entry to catch fentanyl from coming into our southern border. And I hope we can find a way to work in a bipartisan way to do something about this.
Thank you so much. I hope so. I hope so too. I want to talk a little bit about the housing shortage as well that many of our communities are experiencing. I'm glad that this budget proposal keeps pushing for pro-housing policies, especially at a time when the dream of home ownership seems increasingly unreachable. To address our housing shortage, we must build more affordable housing and more different types of housing. This idea is the core of my Homes for All Act, investing billions of dollars in development of permanent, affordable public and private housing units with a focus on mitigating residential displacement and segregation. Congress can and must lead here, since it has done before by delivering funds to our public housing authorities. The federal government once directly helped build so much housing. We renovated and repaired homes and provided subsidies to increase home ownership on a massive scale. It is time to repeal the Faircloth Amendment and get back to directly assisting our localities with developing and guaranteeing stable housing for all. Director Young, can you describe both the ongoing and proposed actions that the administration is prioritizing to improve affordable housing stock?
Again, inflation is moderated 2/3, but families are still struggling. And one place is in housing, a lack of affordable housing. That's why this president, when we say lowering costs is a theme of this budget, housing is centered to that. Helping first-time homeowners, helping middle-class families with tax credits who might be locked in with low interest rates, who need a bigger house for, a surprise third child. They need to move up to a bigger house. And we need first-time homeowners to have access to more housing stock. This budget would do something about that to allow a 2-year tax credit. Also, $20 billion in funding to have localities, municipalities apply. And if they have a zone problem, use the funding to do something about that. Build affordable housing. We know every solution is different depending on where you live. And we look forward to working with those who want to take on those pieces of legislation.
Wonderful. I know a little bit about that surprise third child. So I felt like that was directed at me.
It wasn't actually.
But I appreciate the concern and care that is given to increasing more affordable housing, both in ownership and just in stock. Thank you so much.
I thank the gentlelady from